A motion to approve the minutes of March 31st, April 1st, public, and April 1st, non-public.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as
Second, motion has passed.
That covered all three.
Yeah, one motion for all three. We've streamlined that. Ex officio reports, you got anything in?
no.
Okay, I have, very briefly, there's an ambulance meeting a week ago, and I was out in my yard, I forgot all about it, so I didn't go.
Did not attend.
Did not attend. Sorry about that. And last night, there was a fire meeting, and I made a point of remembering, and I left, I went, and meeting was well attended. There's a lot of excitement over the new chief. He's got a lot of new applicants. There's 4 coming from, some of them live in Grafton. They come from the Canaan Fire Department, so they come with credentials. So it's looking good. He's got another applicant. He even gave me an application and a hat. The hat was like a draw, but
It's beautiful.
and that's all I have for my report.
Are you saying you joined the fire system?
No, I didn't. No, I haven't said that.
You're just taking the hat.
I'll take the hat, thank you. I don't see any appointments. By the way, Leaf's out tonight. He won't be here. We don't have any appointments. Next item on the agenda is new business, and I see that there's something called a forest fire warden appointment, and that's something we're not ready to do at this time.
So table that.
Talking with the chief, he's got to clear up internal matter before we do that. And I've talked to people over there, they're all fine with us not doing anything right now, just letting it be. So that's what we're gonna do.
So you're tabling it?
We're tabling
All
it.
fine with
Yeah.
tabling it.
Action item list. Is it in here?
Oh, Sarah prepared that.
Yeah, let's see here. Well, I know I don't have anything to report on, we're at the point with Avatar, we're just going to put out the bid at this point. And I'm not sure where Sarah stands with that. And I have another big concern too, that this has been going on. I don't mind holding off a little bit, but now it's been going on for about 6 months, and that's that composting toilet ordinance. There's a phrase I could use, but I won't. But we need to,
There's many of them. You have that,
yeah,
you have the junkyard.
the junkyard, that's percolating in the background, and we need to look at that ordinance too. And then the
You
issues
got the
that we have.
parsonage.
We have the parsonage. Yeah, and the parsonage, we, in my view, need to do something about that. And also in my view, it won't be leasing it to the Historical Society. We have to do something where actually something can happen, and that's a burden that I don't want to place on that group right now until until some other things get cleared up. They've done a lot already, but I think we need to hold off on that and even discuss perhaps selling it. And that would require a subdivision. And as you know, it's would require making unconforming lots if we did that. So that's a hurdle that we have to come across. But I believe that even in the market today, which isn't as hot as it has been recently, there'll still be a demand for that. So in lieu of actually having that action item, is there anything else on there that?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where the composting toilet at. I guess we're going to see Matt tomorrow, aren't we?
Right,
So maybe we can ask him, because that's where the hang-up is. That's a great idea. Okay, next on the agenda, I have some timber tax, a timber tax warrant. And this is for Hardy Hill, Johnson, map 14, lot 501. And we have a timber tax that we are going to ask the tax collector to collect of $1,305.40. Your turn. Can't pass it down, the buck stops here tonight. Okay, I have a excavation tax assessment, and this is for Jeremy Hiltz Revocable Trust. And the amount taxed is on 45,000 cubic yards. The tax per yard is 2 cents, and the gravel tax due is $900. Reduce my count. I just signed.
That's, the site is signing papers.
Yeah, there it is. It's hiding in there.
His intent to excavate will be at the next meeting,
Okay,
1525.
okay, yeah, I noticed that pit is active over there, so. And, I don't see the mailbag here either, so either we didn't get any mail, I don't know where it is.
Nothing, no.
Okay, so we're gonna move past the mailbag, and we'll go right to public comment. Brian?
I have a few. First of all, we had, for the cemetery trustees, we had one of the alternates decide they were going to move on, don't want to do it anymore, so we're going to vote to have somebody the next cemetery trustee meeting. So if anybody from the public wants to come, please come for next cemetery trustee.
Okay, the next meeting is,
Let's say like 3.5 weeks from now.
okay.
Next Thursday,
When
3.5 weeks.
was your last meeting? Just this past?
Yes, it's past Thursday.
Past Thursday,
Okay.
so about 3.5 weeks.
So, okay,
So if anybody's interested, but I got a couple more comments.
okay,
As I've been saying this whole time, parsonage or any other town property that's not actively being used and is sitting there being a liability, my vote's always gonna be to sell it, like get rid of it, we don't need the liability, even if it means a subdivision, which, you know, I don't wanna quibble with words, but non-conforming, like we have a process that allows it to be subdivided if you get all the signatures, so I don't know that that's non-conforming, but.
it's non-conforming because it's less than 2 acres. And that's a
But if it's
land,
got a
it's a land use ordinance, and because, even though we have 2 acre minimum,
Yeah,
it's considered a zoning thing, and we don't have a zoning board of appeals, so that's the only legal hurdle that we have to overcome, and I believe that there's ways of doing that.
yeah, so my understanding is you can do less than 2 acres if you get the signature of the whole planning board, so. Anyway, I'm not trying
We'll have to
to
look into that, that may be the case, I
alleviate
don't know.
this, but if you can get that, if you get that signature from the planning board, like, let's get rid of it. That's my vote.
Are you saying, Ryan, that pertains to the town or in general town-wide?
In general, town-wide, but the
Okay.
parsonage specifically.
So not only
Sure.
for the municipality, but also for the public? You know, I didn't wanna write that down if it's. only
I'm talking about,
planners.
yeah, town property only.
If the whole planning board signs off, just the
Oh, oh.
municipality can do it.
No, my understanding is that anybody can do it,
Oh, okay.
but, you know, I'm, far from a lawyer. The last quick question, hopefully, is the excavation tax warrant, this is because they're like being a gravel pit or something?
Yes.
It's
And they're selling the.
Yes.
big gravel.
So this doesn't pertain if I just wanna move, you know, a couple buckets of dirt on my property, right? The excavation
We
tax
won't,
warrant.
we won't
that's
tax you for that,
not-
no.
Alright, but there's some like threshold or something to?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the threshold is, but, you know,
Right,
it would have to
there is a
be,
threshold.
more than
Somebody
5
has
That's if it's going off the
Yeah.
property, not if.
yeah, you
move it
basically,
around.
yeah,
If you're running your own pit in your backyard.
yeah, you're allowed to do that.
Okay, cool.
That's it?
Yeah, thanks.
Next?
The only question I had, the thing I saw about Avatar wanting us to switch from assessed value to market value. There was a report that Avatar had done, I got an email from the select board and it was a Avatar report. And they were suggesting that we go from assessed value on property for taxes to market value. I didn't know if,
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay.
Basically, when they do their assessment, you know, they do it every 5 years, so when they do it day one,
oh, they
It's
just like a
supposed-
suggestion.
it's supposed to reflect
Gotcha.
market value. 5 years later, like ours was done 5 years ago, our property assessments are not market value.
Yeah.
They're way low.
Alright,
So-
I was confused, I'm like, does this already happen? 'Cause
Yeah,
yikes.
no, we just kicked it off and the pain will come later.
True. That was all I had.
Okay, thank you. Final comments from selectmen?
Yes, I got a phone call tonight on, about the roads. Question is, the grader out there working, and why is the York rakes flying up and down the roads?
I don't know, but usually when it's muddy, the grader doesn't do a lot.
But the roads have been, are no longer posted.
Yeah, well, that's also, you're only allowed to post them for 30 days,
Yeah, no,
as far as I know.
no.
But I don't know why the grader's not out there.
I don't know if it is,
If
but that was a question that was
Yeah.
thrown at me.
it should be, then yeah, that's a good question. I couldn't say.
Because, well, the York rakes are only gonna do so much
Yeah,
if the roads are frozen, but they're not frozen, so
yeah. So that's a question for the road department, for Jeffrey. Anything else?
No.
Well, that's enough. Roads this time of year are usually a question, and I've had some issues with plowing, you know, some of the road up into people's lawns and slicing a piece of the lawn off, just like when the plow guy comes up my driveway.
right, that's,
It's the same thing except on a bigger scale, and people have issues with that, and that's something that we have to deal with. And the road crew should be made aware of any issues like that, so they hopefully can remediate it next year.
The 3-ton weight limit's off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool,
you will not see any signs on any roads.
Yeah, they lifted that.
cool, thanks.
Any other comments? Do I hear a motion?
Motion
To?
to adjourn.
Yes, second. We're out of here.